All right, hello and welcome everybody to day number 5. I'll be getting started just in a moment. All right, well, hello everybody. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying the music, the musical interlude. My name is Doyle Buehler, and I'm the founder of the Extraordinary League of Entrepreneurs and Founders Online. And today we're talking about the day number 5 for the Digital Business Growth Pathway Strategy Challenge. So we're day number 5. Can you believe that? It's been a busy couple of days getting up to this stage, getting up to day number 5 as well. So day number 5 is putting all these pieces together, right? Deciding how we want to build this roadmap to allow us to be able to navigate to certainty, and gives us the tools and the strategies to be able to build our pathway forward as well. Without it, what are we really kind of doing? We're just kind of sitting around hoping for the best. Hope is not a strategy. We need to be able to be active in what we do and how we plan, and the strategies that we build and the strategies that we use in the online world as well. It's no different than how we conduct our business regularly. We need to have that foundation. We need to have those pieces in place that allow us to do this as effectively and as quick and as efficient as possible as well. So it's really important that we have a roadmap to be able to do this, so that we can understand what pathway do we need to take, what steps along the road or along the pathway do we actually need to take as well. So there's lots to learn, but hey, we put it all together in a piece that allows you to be able to understand what step goes first, put the left foot in front of the right foot, and move forward, and that sort of thing as well. So it's important that we kind of understand those pieces and how it all fits together at the end of the day. So just going to switch over here. And we'll get the picture going. And I'm going to just remove that graphic as well. So okay, so what we want to do is really fundamentally talk about day number 5, which is being road trip ready, right? You know, that moment where you're like about to take off on a trip. You have pretty much everything planned. And then that's the key ingredient here is where you're going, right? You know how you're going to get there, and you probably have a good idea of what stops along the way are you going to get there. Jump in an Uber, jump to the airport, or get in the vehicle, get the petrol, that sort of thing. So we all know these steps, and intuitively we do it. But unfortunately for business, we don't necessarily take that extra effort to say, hey, I'm going somewhere. I know where it's going. I'm building my savvy strategy in this case to enable my business to grow. But we don't take that opportunity to be able to say, what are these steps along the way? So as you're preparing your journey, you know today is the day. Today is day number 5, where we know exactly what it is that's important, and we know where we're going. We know the steps ahead. We know approximately how long it's going to take us and what we're going to do. Surprisingly, we don't see that. We don't do that in our business today, and that's one of the most troubling things of seeing businesses over the last 20 years is that not many people do that. Not many people take those steps to be able to define those business strategies, those business steps as well. And without it, we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. We're not really putting in that effort for the business that we know can work. Intuitively, where you're heading, right? And you know what steps you want to be able to take, but are you able to communicate that? Are you able to show everybody? And are you sticking to that roadmap? If you're not, then you're not going to get to where you want to go. So where we've been so far, we've taken a look at what I call the digital expedition, and just understanding, what are we trying to do here? We're not on a safari. We are on an expedition, and we are on an expedition that allows us to grow our business, that allows us to move our business forward, that allows us to get to that destination that's important to us. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as a moon landing or, flying across the Antarctica or whatever the case may be. It can be something very easy. It can be something very fundamental to our business. So, but we have to be prepared, because if we're not prepared, guess what? We may not make it. Back, when people were exploring the world and the planets and that sort of thing, you know what? If you weren't prepared, you weren't going to make it. Business isn't quite that cutthroat, but it certainly can be. But we need to be able to understand these pieces that make it work for us so that we can move forward, right? So what does an expedition start with? It starts with strategy, and it starts with a roadmap as well, which are two of the critical components here. And earlier on, I showed you at the beginning of this, I showed you the model that we were using to basically hone in on your ultimate call to action, right? Your CTA from the market in marketing speak. This is your promise, right? What are you going to be able to deliver at the end of the day to your audience? What are they expecting you to deliver? How are they going to be able to receive that as well? So it's really, really important that we narrow it in very, very quickly to say, what is our ultimate call to action? Your promise that you're going to provide to your audience. Now, once we do that, that's obviously the first step, but we also need to take a look at, okay, well, what's slowing us down? And we have these obstacles along the way, and I'm going to get into these that are really kind of pushing back. They may be small barriers, they may be big barriers, but the fact is that there's something there. So what we need to look at is, how do we actually fix these? Okay, so we have 3 obstacles and 3 fixes as well. And I'm going to go dig down into these as also. So, and if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to ask them in the comments. I will try to answer them as quickly as possible. I may not be able to answer them during the video, but for sure, I'll go back and answer them in the comments as well. So what we're looking at is the obstacles that are getting in the way, and the 3 steps to get consistent business growth is super, super critical. So there's 3 things holding you back from your business growth. And as soon as you fix them, you'll hit it. And these are the 3 things that are slowing you down right now. Fractured positioning with your ideal audience. So not sure how to capture new demand, journey is unknown, and your message is broken. You're not sure how to leverage your expertise and your own genius. Will your message actually be heard? And even if it reaches your audience, how hard will you have to work because it is fractured? These doubts erode your positioning with your perfect client, making it impossible to market and sell. Does that make sense? So fractured is about our strategy and our execution. We're not actually able to enable that as good or as quickly as we would like to. So that's our first barrier. So the second barrier is too much friction to implement and respond. And what I'm talking about here is friction in your progress and in finding and targeting your audience. Not being able to create your own uncontested market space. You're simply not in front of the right audience at the right time with the right data and the right tools. You don't have the information that you need nor the tools to be able to deliver your message on time to the right person at the right place. So you're nowhere near your target audience. And this is that friction, too much friction to implement and to respond as well. And the third step is what I call fragmented messaging and delivery. And what it's actually creating is fragmented and disconnected clients. Your business is not compelling in order to make your competition irrelevant. Your environment is not engaging and not compelling. Your digital assets are not aligned with your customer journey and business goals, and your digital experience doesn't satisfy. Prospects don't seem to get what you do, and even when they do, they don't seem to want it. So do any of those make sense? Do any of those kind of strike a chord with you? We're trying to make sure that we understand these obstacles so then we can build the bridges, we can build the roadmap around them as well, which is absolutely critical as we move forward. So if we take a look at, okay, well, where do we start? We start in the middle, right? And for me, I'm talking about savvy strategy, strategic simplicity as well, right? This is your growth pathway strategy, your GPS roadmap. That's my promise. That's my call to action. That's what I'm delivering to you, is being able to do that. We are, like I said, going to have some barriers, some obstacles in the way, fractured strategy and execution. How do we overcome that? Well, persuasive positioning. And I'm going to get into that more in a minute. Secondly, too much friction to implement and respond? How do we overcome that? Tenacious targeting. And then the third aspect, fragmented messaging and delivery. That's our obstacle. How do we create the roadmap around that? With creating connected and craving clients. And as we start to put these pieces together, as we start to put these elements together, we can see that there's obviously a pattern here. And the pattern is that we want to be able to create these roadmap steps along the way. So you know exactly where the next road stop is. You know exactly what needs to happen next. You know what you need to do for your business next. And that understanding does take some work, but that's what will actually give you that roadmap forward. So how do we actually create persuasive positioning? We need to have amazing customer journey of transformation. We need to have an irresistible value in monetization, and we need to be able to unlock expertise in zone of genius. These three elements work together to get us around that obstacle of fractured strategy and execution. Now, in terms of tenacious targeting, what do we need to do here? What do we need to have? And these are the things that you need to implement into your business. Number 4 is magnetic measurement to decide with data. Number 5 is precision digital toolkit and tech stack. And number 6 is omnipresent automation. So these, again, are things that you need to be able to grow that business, to be able to create that roadmap so that it works with you, not against you. Part C, the last segment of this, again, the barrier is fragmented messaging and delivery. So what are we talking about here? We want to be able to overcome that with connected and craving clients. And how do we do that? We do that through alluring, inviting, and engaging environments. We do that through tantalizing digital assets and foundations. And we're doing that through immersive and enchanting digital experiences. So these are all pieces that allow us to be able to understand, how does this fit together? How can we create this roadmap that allows us to understand what's really, really important here? And those are the key ingredients. So we have 3 elements and we have 9 specific steps. And if we can see how these all fit together, that's what's really ultimately important here, to be able to say, how do we create that roadmap? How do we create that pathway to navigate business uncertainty and to accelerate clarity forward as well? So let's keep moving. Again, some of this is a recap. You have seen it. So we just want to make sure, I just want to make sure that you can see it in context of what's ultimately important here. So what are we building here? I've started from day one saying we are building a roadmap, right? We are creating an agile and adaptable roadmap for growth online. And what does a roadmap look like? It looks like a roadmap. So we're not taking a big jump here. We're putting in these specific steps. So again, how do we move forward? We want to create persuasive positioning. We want to create tenacious targeting, and we want to create connected and craving clients. Those are the 3 steps that we say are very, very important. Now, where are we going? Well, we want to go to our destination. We want to go to deliver our promise. We want to be able to deliver our savvy strategy, our growth pathway strategy that allows our clients to be able to understand the steps that they need to take. And what do we do along this way? Well, guess what? We have all these 9 specific road stops, these 9 specific roadhouses, as they say in Australia, that keep us lined up. And we know that we have to go a certain distance to get to them, and we know what's going to be there. We have to plan ahead. Otherwise, guess what? We're going to run out of petrol or food or whatever, and we're not going to be able to make it to our destination. So we need to be very clear that there are these specific steps. And if you recall quickly, I had the 9 steps mapped out along these specific barriers around our roadmaps, our obstacles, and then that becomes our roadmap journey here. So it's actually quite easy. So we go through the amazing customer journey of transformation, irresistible value and monetization, unlocking your zone of genius, tantalizing responses with data, precision digital toolkit, omnipresent automations and stunning streamlining, alluring environment, tantalizing assets, and enchanting digital experience. So we've made it. We've made a roadmap. We've given our specific steps along the way, and we've been able to see exactly where it is that we're going. So is a map at the end of the day difficult? It's not difficult to build, and it's not difficult to refer to, because once you have it, it's there and it guides you. This is why I call it growth pathway strategy. It's like a GPS, right? When you're not sure where you're going, what do? You punch in the GPS and away you go. Eventually, you don't necessarily need to punch it in every time, because you know the steps that you need to be taking. But guess what? This lays that foundation to be able to know the steps that you're taking. And that's key, as we know, for any business to be able to survive. So one of the exercises we went through was designing your savvy strategy roadmap canvas. So each of these 9 elements, obviously there's a little bit of difference between every business out there. And this is the worksheet that you can go through to be able to understand, okay, what do these specific pieces mean? What do each of these obstacles mean? What do each of these things need to have for me, for my business? So if you haven't done that already, please go through this and answer the questions, because that's going to formulate these steps along your roadmap. Okay, so the steps here, become the roadmap here. And we're able to see these 9 specific steps, and we're able to create that opportunity, create the roadmap through each of these 9 specific roadhouse stations along the way. And we need to fill this in. So if you can, fill this out, add each one, get the answers to the questions. And again, this is just to set the stage. There's obviously a lot involved in terms of how do you actually implement and how do you execute and that sort of thing. But you know what? If we can start very quickly with a simple plan, we can actually use it and engage it very quickly as well. So go through this, add those specific answers to those things that we want to be able to have, right? The 9 roadhouses. Put in what you feel is important for your business, answering each of these specific questions. And then that gives you the template. That gives you a basic understanding of what does this actually look like. And all these links for all these worksheets are in the comments. And I've also got a few pages that I'm going to show you coming up very, very shortly as well, where you can go back and grab the resources and make sure that you've got everything that you need. So does that make sense? All we're doing is it's a real life metaphor where we're taking the pieces of the steps along the way and we're creating a roadmap, a growth pathway strategy for your business to get you to where you want to go. Now, kind of the last stage of this is, okay, so this is great. We've got Doyle, he showed me this great roadmap tool, which is fantastic. And there's a couple of extra things that are in there, kind of hidden, that they're kind of like Easter eggs, I guess. But they're special pieces of information that actually become quite exciting as you kind of dive into it a little bit deeper, which I'd be more than happy and excited to show you as well. But before that, what's really important here is that we can then take that roadmap, and there's 2 things that we can do with it. The first one is we can actually create it into a cool little tool. And I've showed you along the way how we can create this 3D roadmap based on all of the information that you just entered, right? So taking the 3 elements, the 3 obstacles, the 3 barriers, right? How do you overcome those? And then taking each of the 9 elements, the 9 roadhouse stations, and we can put them all into this. And you're wondering, well, how does that actually work? Well, we apply the triangles principles at the beginning, as I showed you, and just group them all together. Because as you know, if you group something together, if you integrate it properly, it actually makes a lot more sense and it creates more of a holistic type picture. So in this case, I've stacked these triangles of each of those elements of each of those 3 obstacles and said, let's put something together that actually works. And so what we can do then quite easily is we create the diagram based on all the information. So all of those little paths on your roadmap, all of those obstacles, and the core call to action as well that you developed earlier, we put it onto this template. And I have an app for that. And if you'd like to be able to create one, I'd happy to walk you through that. And I've got a link that you can actually click to book some time so we can actually create that. So you create it on your printer, or we create it. And then what we do is you actually, back to paper, scissors, and that sort of thing, is we actually cut it out from the specific, from your plan. And then we fold it up. And I did change color, if you noticed, if you're watching from home, but you can fold it up, and then this becomes your business model. This becomes your growth pathway strategy. This becomes the pieces of that roadmap that we just created. So it's very, very powerful. So now if somebody wants to talk to you about what are you doing, or your staff needs direction, you can say, we are right here on this roadmap. We are right on this specific piece that allows us to understand these 3 steps, right? These 3 steps and these 3 steps as well. So we really have that capability now to be able to understand and see where it is that we're going. So you can put it, you can use it, you can handhold it, you can carry it, you can take it with you, you can talk about it, you can talk to other people about it. You can use this as a strategy tool and a storytelling tool, and fundamentally it's your roadmap tool as well. And then what we can also do is we can actually create a roadmap further going forward. So each of those 9 roadhouses, we can then actually create a specific roadmap as well. I'm just trying to get the orientation right. So if we map out each of these specific steps, each of these specific stories, each of these specific roadhouses, we're actually able to understand, okay, when do I need to do this? When do I need to be able to put this piece in place? When do I need to be able to put the next piece in place, and that sort of thing? And so we can do a quick little roadmap to pull it all together to say these are the pieces that we need to be able to do this also. So what I'd love for you to do is, if you can finish this, finish your actual roadmap. So complete your big call to action and do that first, because we decide first where it is that we're going to go, and then we decide, okay, what are the stops along the way. So do that first. My big call to action is, then go through and create your specific things related to each of the roadhouses as well, and put those in there from that table as well. And then that's where you can then create, going forward, your what I call a stratahedron, which allows you to be able to put this together based on that. So it's pretty easy, right? Create your big call to action, create your roadmap, and then that allows you to create this strategy tool, this actual business planner that allows you to be able to do that. So if you'd love to, I'd love to help you get started on that, on your roadmap. The challenge is one thing, and obviously, there's lots of work to be doing there, but also afterwards as well. So keep that in mind. But if you wanted help with creating one of these, please book a time, and I'll help you design one of these for you as well. So just go to calendly.com/Doyle Buehler/30-minute. And we can set up a little call, and then I can help you create your own roadmap tool that you can then take with you to your business as well. So just want to wrap up, but that's basically where we want to head with that, is take a look at that, create that roadmap, create that call to action, create your stratahedron, and then you're able to book a time as well down here at calendly.com/Doyle Buehler/30-minutes as well. So let's get out of there. And I just wanted to show you some of the other tools that we've been using. Let's see, I'm going to have to reshare this. But some of the other tools that we are using as part of this challenge that will allow you to be able to, build these elements as well. So I just want to quickly show you that. There's the Jamboard that I have, and this is where you can actually brainstorm some of the concepts that are important. They're all the questions are basically outlined there, so that you can see what is going on and where it is and how you can actually play with these as well. So play with these ideas. You can go through all of the days, all of the different days here, all have different questions. So you're welcome to add to this one, or you can copy it and create a new Jamboard as well. But what it does is it's a brainstorming tool. It allows you to get into those little different pieces as well. So we've got all these pieces from each of the days, from each of the challenges as well. There's also a master link. Like, I put this challenge in the guides, in the Facebook guides in the group, but there's also, so you can find the videos and the links and that sort of thing. But there's always this link if you want to watch the YouTube videos, so you don't have to be on Facebook. They're all there. All of the PDFs, all of the worksheets, all of the content, and all the information is there as well. So you can go to that. I'll post the link in the description or the comments as well, and that allows you to be able to do that. So I think that's it. Did I cover everything? So hope you've enjoyed the challenge. I know that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. It's, building a roadmap is one thing, but doing the strategic execution is another thing, and it's nothing to be overlooked as well. So it's important to build this roadmap, but then also build the steps, being able to move that whole process forward as well. So I encourage you to reach out if you need to talk about anything, if you need help, if you want me to help you create one of these and introduce you to the tool that allows you to do this, please do that. Please get in touch as well. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or whatever the case may be. So, and we're probably going to have like a graduation, a little fun little party after all this is done in the next couple of days. So keep your eyes open for that, and looking forward to that as well. So can I turn the music back on? There we go. It's Friday afternoon here. So hope everybody has an amazing day, an amazing week, wrapping up an amazing week, and we will see you guys online. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and we will see you online.